Happy Sunday, everybody. Hi, Ramona, Sharon, Matnat, Colleen, Elaine, Karen. I thought of, because of everything that's been going on, I thought of making an actual sunflower cane that we can use to make a pendant or a brooch or whatever. As you know, the sunflower is the flower of Ukraine, and we're gonna put it on a background that has yellow and blue. So for now, I have already made a base here. There's just a simple rectangle that I baked on a relatively biggish jar to be a little bit like this, so in case you want to make a brooch or a pin, you can add here the pin, or if you want to make it as a pendant, you can add a bail, and I'll show both of them. Now, even if the sunflower was in my little booklet of canes that I want to make, as you know, I haven't been making a lot of canes lately because of my hands issues. And I did not plan it because I thought it's a little bit more instructive for you to see how I think out my canes when it's about a cane that is supposed to be more or less realistic. If you are newer to my channel or brand new, I do have on my channel, and let me show you real quick. If you go to my channel page, I have playlists here, and among them there are playlists with canes, and I do have some flower canes. Here I have geometric canes, and somewhere here they are the flower canes. And if you go to the flower canes, now remember, my older videos don't have such a good quality. I have the cherry blossom, a carnation, some easy flower canes, the old rose cane, then I have a newer rose cane that this one was very thought out to go on it, to show you how it looks like in the end. And it's a little bit different than all the other rose canes that you see out there. But to get back to our design, so where am I? Hi Francis, hi J9, hi Ramona, hi Kim, hi Sonia, hi Linda. Yeah, I don't have family in Ukraine, but I can tell you that Romania is on fairly high alert because it does have borders with Ukraine, both in the north and in the east. So what I have prepared, and I'm going to work with Premo, and these are the colors that I have prepared, and I'm going to work on creating the color mixes and skinner blends that I need. Thank you, Kim. So I have here the, oh god, what is it? This sunlight, I think. Let me check. I keep forgetting the names. There are so many names in all these brands that you have to remember the exact and by the way, if you weren't aware, two things. PolyClay Play now carries Premo, Cernit, Pardo, and Kato. And please use my PolyClay Play affiliate link so that I can do giveaways. And the second thing is that, let me see, Premo. The second thing is that Cosplay now started selling on Amazon. I am trying to get a Cosplay tutorial up. Let me see what's the color of this yellow. It's not fluorescent. Sunshine. There we go. Sunshine. Sunshine yellow. Then I have sienna, a little bit of sienna, and burnt umber, and then a little bit of white and mandarin. So if we look at a sunflower, and I'm going to just briefly bring up my search here. If we look at a sunflower, I'm not going to go in the all kinds of varieties of sunflower, but generally speaking, you can see that the actual regular sunflowers, the petals length is about the radius of the center. The length is about the radius of the center. Not sure if you can see my cursor, but you can see the petals length is like from the middle of the center to the edge of the center. Then you'd have 2, sometimes even 3 excuse me, concentric circles in the center, and that depends on because these are all little, I don't know how to call them otherwise than uteruses, and they start opening for pollination in turns. The ones on the edge open first, and then they start opening more towards the center. The ones in the center are the newest. So it depends on what stage of opening they are. So that's what we are going to do. Okay, new people. Hi, Randy. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Carla. Hi, Cooper. Okay, so let's first establish what kind of elements I have to make. So I have to make the petals. Looking at the petals have fairly strong in length. Let me bring my notepad. You know that me and my notepad, I have to draw it, and I have to keep it safe from Finnegan because he chews any paper that's on the floor. So on the petal itself, so we have the petal like this, and in length there are some pretty strong lines of varying hues of yellow. They are not because the color of the petal is changing, it's because of the way the petal is textured, and you have a little bit of light and shadow thing going on there. But then you also have a little bit of a darkened area here, and most of the times something in the middle, little bit of a darker color, like a line in the middle. Then the things in the middle, I'm going to make 3 different. I'm going to just make bull skeins because it would be a very, very long and drawn process to make it way too realistic, because it's such a complicated flower. as a general idea and advice, whenever you want to make a flower, your best bet, and let me switch again to display, your best bet when you search for the flower, okay, Google got very, very smart lately, and see how you get all these suggestions up here for various things. Look for the clip art. You may even type in the search the name of the flower and then clip art. A clip art would make it much easier for you to get all the elements that need to be, like, for example, as you can see, this one would be a very easy way to do a sunflower cane. The clip arts can be more intricate or less intricate. Here is another clip art of a sunflower that has a little bit of a light and shadow. This is kind of more of a medium where you have a little bit of skinner blend thing, but generally speaking, we might go more for this type. Not exactly like this, but this type. The hardest thing to work on is that specific middle, because it has all that spiral thing going on that is kind of creating like a net that goes in a spiral. So I'm going to try to replicate that. It's not going to be perfectly realistic because, again, I'm trying to keep these lives not too much on the master side, but more towards the beginner intermediate. Okay, so okay, and all this WINFIY, let's just remove them because I don't see what this has to be related. There we go. So now let's start with the petal, and I usually thank you, Pamela. I usually get to be easier for you. It's going to be a relatively large cane, so I want the petal to be about this big and about this thick. So let's grab some yellow. I put these 3, it's not enough. Grab one more. Set this aside, and then I'm going to grab 1 square of the sienna. It's going to be a fairly long. And you're going to say, why the heck did you bring this sunshine yellow here if you're not going to use it? We are going to use it. Just hold on. So this is going to be a relatively long stretch of a skinner blend. But I have to do it like this. Of course, I could put all these yellows one on top of the other, but it would make all the yellow side go like this and then the sienna side be like this. So I'm going to go simply like this. then get it through the pasta machine, and I'm going to put it through the pasta machine like this, just for now. Just to get it together a little bit. And then I want to get it smaller, obviously. I did condition the clay. I didn't condition it to perfection because creating the Skinner blends conditions it even more, and I didn't want to have too soft sticky clay. It doesn't work well in canes, as you know. Like trying to make a geometrical or more realistic cane in souffle is a pain. Then I'm going to drag this, remember my V fold, I'm going to drag this sienna a little bit. So I'm not folding like this, I'm folding like this. And then I'm going to start rolling. Remember, rolling always hastens your Skinner blend. And allows you to keep it more, not too wide, because every time it gets too wide you need to start fan folding, and when you start fan folding you mess up again your gradient area. So I have this now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get it on a much thinner setting. So that I can do and as you can see I do have a little bit extra yellow, and I'm going to bring it as much as possible to this end because I don't want my very end to be sienna. I want it to be beige tinted yellow, but not sienna. Again, I'm trying to keep it as thin as possible. And this time I'm going to actually fold it nicely. Then fold it one more and one more because I want to even out this end here. And I guess it needs one more. And at this point I can start rolling it again, and after this roll I'm going to add just a pinch of the orange. Why I didn't add it first? Because I want first to make sure that I'm getting the colors that I want. Okay. one piece. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab just a little bit. So this would be pretty much a quarter of this. And I'm going to make a little sausage that's going to go right here. And now all that is to it is to just do this several times to create a proper Skinner blend for the petal, and then we are good to go for the petals. And as you can see, it starts getting really nicely blended here. The thing is that, yeah, you can go more diluted, but think that most of these will be fairly small, and when you have just minutiae of color changes, when something is that small, it's barely noticeable, so you don't want that to happen. It's like I was telling you that if you want to do micro caning, to never use lines, to always use Skinner blends, because lines tend to disappear when you go very small, while Skinner blends keep the color rolling, to say so. And I am back to folding. Get rid of this U-shaped end. Now let's go again on the rolling part, because I still have to get that mandarin a little bit more blended. Not super more blended, because it's going to be nice with it's going to be a type of ikat. It will end up to be a type of ikat. So it's not going to be too bad. And as I'm doing this with the roller, I still try to keep it in one smaller width. Because this is not a Skinner blend that I'm going to extend like this. It's going to go one on top of the other in. It's going to stack like this. So from now on, all I am doing is to fold it. As you can can see now it looks fairly good, but let me get it a little bit less wide once again. Remember that the Skinner blend is the thing that takes the longest when you create your elements. That's what takes the longest whenever you make a cane, if you make a Skinner blendish cane. Very careful. I'm tucking in all these ragged ends. And then I'm going to get with it through the machine on a very, very thin setting. Okay, so now we have this, right? Let me try and get it to the side. And what else I need? I'm going to need, this is about, I'm going to cut it to that exact width of what I have there. And I'm going to do the same with the sunshine yellow. I have to tell on Finnegan, he's been a little jerk. What the heck is this? I don't know where this came from. I think I saw it. Huh. Weird. Okay, and another piece of the sunshine yellow, about the same width as my Skinner blend. Bonsoir, bonsoir. Hi, Darla. And then I'm going to go with these through the pasta machine on the same thickness, thin thickness that I went with the Skinner blend. Okay, now let me get this a little bit shorter, make it into so that I don't get too much out of the camera. Okay, so I said that I want the height of my thing to be about this. I know this shouldn't be this wide, it should be a little bit shorter. As I said, this is first hand. It's what I would do when I actually build canes, all kinds of experiments. This should be good. Now here I make sure that I have the proper side on. give it another yellow here, just to make it more interesting. And then, oh, why does this much? And one yellow, one sunshine yellow towards the yellow side. Seamus is feeling unloved, so he's caterwauling around the house. Right, let's bring this one here too. I might not have gotten enough, but it's going to be fine. I can handle it. Let's give it another yellowish thing. And this is fine, because remember it's getting cut on the length. And this time I'm going to place this side. This little piece that I had here. So this is my petal, which I'm going to start working a little bit. And I do have a couple. Oh, Finnegan's been absolutely horrible. He started trying to bully Connor because earlier in the day I called out, I was on the couch and I called out, "Who wants some kisses?" And Connor reached me first. And Finnegan got super pissed. So he started following Connor all around the house. And trying to bite his feet. He even started vocalizing at Connor, and that was really weird. Okay, so this needs, obviously, needs to be reduced a lot, because we're gonna have a lot of pieces of, a lot of petals cut out from this. I'm praying is for my hands to not give up. might have to break this in order to reduce it better, because this is not a cane that you can, you know, cut and repeat, just put stuff together because of the middle. I mean, you can if you want to make it very simple, but as I said, I'm going to try and reproduce that little design that the middles do. Okay, I'm going to put this to the side for the moment, because I first need to make the middle to see how I'm going to work on it. And I have to be very careful with the middle not to make it too big, because otherwise I have to make a bazillion more of these and I'll end up with like 10 canes. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to get some of the burnt umber. And I am going to wrap it in. So this is on the thickest setting, and I didn't do it right. Oh. So first of all, I need the width. So when you want to measure, always bring it over, press a little bit and unpress, because it's going to leave a line here, so you know perfectly where to cut. So this will be my very middle. I didn't cut it very good. And that's fine. These are going to be so tiny it will be hard to notice. So this will be my first one. And it will be about this size, right? Once they are together. Then I'm going to make a second one, about half the size of this, half the size of that brown. It's a little bit too big. Yes, this is good. Then I'm going to wrap in this one. I'm going to put it on a half, so on a 5. So wrapped in the sienna on a 4. And then wrapped in a yellow on the form. And remember, when you're making canes, even if you might get a little bit of contamination, don't fret it too much unless it's a big contamination with other color, but it's going to be so small when the cane is going to be reduced and used that it will be barely noticeable. Alright, so this is what's going to go around it. And now for the third one, I'm going to make and this has to be a little bit bigger than the middle one. This needs to be more. I'm going to use the sienna. And as you can see, it's almost as thick as the one in the very middle. And then I'm going to wrap it first in the orange on the so this is on the second thickest on the makings. This is my last this is my last orange. I need to get more orange. So I'm patching it up. So I got this, and then I'm going to wrap it once again in the regular yellow on the form. And I know it's very quiet. Okay, so I got these now, and each of them will have to be reduced. So the first one, because this is not going to be the middle the middle will be composed of many tiny ones. So to start with, you can start, never roll something round with your fingers because you're going to leave grooves. So either with the palm of your hand, and the only time you can roll with fingers is when it's large enough and you go from the middle towards the sides to extend it. But as all round little plugs, you want to go from the middle towards the ends, kind of pinching. Generally speaking, what's in the middle is going to have the tendency to stay behind, and you'll get kind of like this here. So you have to, from time to time, if it's too much, you can cut the very end, but my favorite method that doesn't allow it to do too much of that is to simply pinch. Of course, I'm going to cut this when I'm done, but I'm pinching the very ends to not allow the sides to go out any further. So as you can see, I'm not rolling the whole thing with my fingers, only from the middle towards the ends. And I need to do something fairly small. Once I'm getting to a certain thinness, I'm going to start using my little acrylic block. Goodness, my nerves are so frayed with this whole thing with Ukraine, and I've stayed up late at night watching CCTV from Kiev mostly, that I hear a noise outside and I'm especially because I know how it is with the shots in the city. As I said before, I was part of the anti-communist revolution in Bucharest, and we had days, well over a week, almost 2 weeks, of fighting and shots and snipers and all that. And for a long time I had PTSD before of that. I remember my ex-husband got completely speechless. At one point they were starting work near our house, and when they put in the jackhammer, I immediately dropped to the ground. The jackhammer sounds very much like a machine gun. Generally, I'm not using Kato because it's way too tough for my hands. When need be, I do, but I generally avoid. The hardest clay I'm working with is Fimo Professional. But of course, I'm going to try it. I'm going to give it a try and see how that is. That's the reason why even I got some Papa's clay, I wasn't impressed with it, because it requires a lot of hand conditioning, and if you let it be for 5 minutes, you need to condition it again. So that's definitely not for me. I mean, it's got beautiful colors, and I know a lot of the miniature sculptures in Europe like it. It's not my dish. Turns black, the scrap clay. And the other thing with Kato is I cannot really bake Kato because my kitties start throwing up from the fumes. So it's not something that I want. Hold on, let me grab a better thing to cut. I hope that was thick enough of a wrapping. So this is about 1.5 millimeters thick. Yeah, and I also went on Reddit. There's quite a few. It's the main board of Ukraine and quite a few subreddits, and it's heartbreaking. Once there, the thing that really, I don't like Elon Musk a lot, but I was quite impressed. He turned on Starlink for free for Ukraine because the Russians were uh, trying to cut off the internet. So, and I know a lot of people who are going there. I don't know if I told you before, there's a very funny and cute comedian on he's got YouTube, he's got Twitter. His name is Anthony Walker. He's a doctor, and he did a lot of parodies. And right now he's in Budapest. He's trying to get to Lviv to help as a doctor, you know. Okay, now let's see. My thought is to try and start with one in the middle and do the 6 around it. And this being so thin, you have to be careful and make sure that you place them and they don't start moving around. Okay, so I have 1 in the middle and 6 around. Now I'm going to place the next ones perfectly in between. With care, so okay, so here and here, and the next ones again in between. I'm not saying that it's going to be perfect, but hopefully I'll get a little bit of that spirally net thing. You'll get here. I think it would have been easier to just roll it through a line of these. I'll try and do that with the second circle. Okay, so here we are. Now let's do the second one. I'm going to try and work it faster this time. And keep asking questions. I'm looking at the chat, so if you want to talk a little bit, go ahead, because I can talk and answer. Yeah, I was telling you I started to tell you I didn't manage to do much these days because it was so cold. That Arctic cold came all the way to Oklahoma, and it was here for like, let me see, Tuesday to yesterday, so for 5 days. And Thank you, Mother of Pearl. And because of the raising the cost of heating gas, which honestly by myself I don't understand, because Oklahoma is the fourth state in the country in production of natural gas. Why do we have to raise the price? But it's more than twice what it was last year. So because of that, I didn't keep the heat very high in the house, and I spent most of the time, you know, huddled with the kitties on the couch, either reading or watching TV. And you know very well, if you have chronic pain, you know what an effect cold has on you. And the ground was so goddamn cold, you know. So I'm trying now. Yesterday it finally went above freezing. So I had for like 4 days was below freezing day and night, and at night it went down to 10 and 11. So okay, and I'm trying to make these have to be the same thickness, not thicker. You don't, as you go out, you don't have to make them larger. They have to be all the same thickness. And once again, to make this smaller, using a tiny acrylic block, and you can find these both on my Amazon influencer store and on PolyClay Play. What you do, you hold this and you very, very gently, just this motion, pulling down, and you're going to thin it out in a very nice, even fashion. So that you don't have to worry that your little snake is not going to be the same all over. Because I know this is one of the biggest things that people are worried about, and I get questions about this all the time. Okay, I think that we are good now. Let's cut this end that I pinched. Yes, I'm good. So once again, and now I'm going to eyeball. I'm normally pretty good at it. Again, because I don't want to keep you waiting too long. And I didn't do obviously I didn't do the Skinner blend ahead of time, because, you know, sometimes I do, but whenever it's a special something, I have to do it with you. And the last one. Pretty good. So let me grab my eyes. Oh, that is bad. That's got your sciatic nerve all caught in it, doesn't it? Sciatic nerve pain is really bad. I am fortunate that I don't have, or as yet I don't have that happening. My lumbar area finally started getting the osteoarthritis as well, but mine is focused mostly on the sacroiliac joint. I want to chew more than I can bite more than I can chew. No, I have an extra one, but this is pretty much it. And now the very last one, that's the widest. And now you can see why I needed more of this, because it's quilt canes. You mean like patchwork canes? There's a, if you go on my website, I think that's where I put it. Let me make sure that it's there. Might be only on my blog. Give me a second. Hey. Okay, if you go here, hi Cheryl. No, it's nothing that you need to do, just register. Okay, so if you watch this, and let me turn on the display. So if you watch this one, oh, shut up. It says patchwork jewelry. In the video description you'll find the links for the canes that I used in that one. It's a photo tutorials. That was the first one. This is the second one, quilt hearts. And you can see it shows you how to do the hearts cane and make it look like it's patchwork for a quilt. And then the second one, as you can see, there's two here. It's cane 3 and 4, as well as the trim. Again, it's a pictorial. With tiny flowers. But it's fairly micro caned, as you can see. And how tiny you make it, and it ends up looking like this. And then cane number 4, again with the pictorial. You do a stripe cane, and then you have to cut it in a specific way to make it a diagonal stripe, and then you make a tartan. And then how to make the edging for this specific thing. And this is an older one, so this is how it ends up looking. But yeah, this is, you can try your hand with these because it's a fairly beginner. Okay, so let me grab my window back up. So as you can see, I started from the middle and I'm pressing out. And again, I'm going to pinch, even if it's backwards. This one, it's the middle that wants to come out. I'm going to actually cut these completely. These aside. And if it starts doing issues, now I have to warn you that I'm going to hopefully finish the cane today, but I'm probably going to finish the brooch slash pin slash whatever. I'm gonna just hop on tomorrow because it's already been more than an hour and my back is starting to kill me. So, and as you know, being in pain makes you make mistakes. So but yeah, I wish I'd be able to redo all those with better equipment I have, but I don't know, as I'm getting older it gets harder and harder. I'm still miffed at certain happenings that made me waste a lot of time in the last couple years or so. But you know, life is the way it is, and people don't realize that the most important thing that you can give them is your time. Alrighty, so I'm trying to get this also, and I'm going to go faster with this one. Just to warn you, I'm probably going to use my fingernails just to make things happen faster, because I don't want to mess it up after all this going on. All the work I've put here. Because I know when I'm in pain and I'm trying to hurry, I make mistakes and I mess up everything that I worked for, and it's really irritating. Okay, so let's try. As I said, I'm using my fingernail to cut it. You only if you have nails do this. If not, go ahead and measure. This I'm going to have to put it in the freezer to be able to cut it properly. To cut all the ends that are too much. Now don't round it up. You'll see why. Don't start pressing on this and round it up, because there's something else that you need to do with all these little in-betweens. Between the little pieces of string / snake. That's looking good, huh? And there we go. That's the end. Hi, Susan. Yes, that's not what I usually do, but you know, with the making tutorials has to be a little bit more professional. So it did flatten a little bit when I cut, but it's not bad. Okay, now I can go ahead and reduce the petal. How's it going, Susan? It's nice and warm where you are. We envy you. Cat is. I figured out that something happened, no worries. I didn't think that you were going to start preaching on my live. Okay, so remember what I said, about half of it. As you can see, it's a little bit too long. The other thing is that I'm going to pinch the end here, so that's going to make it a little longer. So what I want it to be about 1/3 of the diameter of this. See, there's a reason why I have my spell check is disabled on all my devices. I'm not pinching it yet because it's much easier to reduce it when it's just like this. So I'm pretty much good. Okay, let me do this one real quick as well. I think I'm gonna have enough petal. Yeah, it's here it's supposed to go to 75 by the middle of next week, and then of course we're gonna start having thunderstorms because it's spring, it's tornado time. I used to love spring. It used to be my most favorite season, with everything coming back to life. But now, you know, don't get me wrong, I still like spring and seeing everything coming back to life, but there's also a little bit of dread looking forward to spring. Knock on wood, the last 2 springs we had here weren't as bad as usual. Not sure if it was El Nino or La Nina or what it was, but something was and made us not have so many tornadoes in my area. This sand is a little bit thicker than the rest. Yeah, here it's hot and humid as well. Not as bad as South Texas, though. I think that was the worst humidity that I've experienced in Southwest Texas. I told you before, I lived in Del Rio for about a year. That's where the dashboard on my car's dashboard cracked because of the heat. I had to go with a cooler to do grocery shopping because if not, my milk would curdle by the time I'd get home. Okay, now going to pinch this end completely. Now you go straight from winter to summer. I know, at least you know it's not like earthquakes. At least you know when they're gonna happen. I'm lucky that I have the Norman National Weather Center right here, and they can tell you, you know, the precision of several yards where they are and how long it's going to take to get to you. And let me use my little roller to make this a little bit more even. And I'm going to pinch this a little bit, but not to the, let me check that everything is pinched to a point, but not to the extent of being completely wedged out like the yellow end. I'm still going to pinch it a little bit to make it a little bit more narrow. Now remember, you don't want to pinch the middle, just the ends. Okay, now can start and putting it together. Okay, this time I'm going to measure pretty much. And remember, you can reduce, once the cane is made, you can reduce it fairly tiny, and you can even make earrings and stuff. Okay, and pinching this was the reason why I told you don't round this up. So kind of place the petal in between the areas of the little snakies here. Kinda. Okay, here I need to place only one. Just one. All right, next order of business. I am going to make another string, this time with just the burnt umber. I might have to cut a few more petals from this. I know it's very intricate, but as I said, the sunflower is intricate. Yeah, how about Monday we had 76 degrees and then that night it went down to 18? Huh? Darla. That's what happened. And I still remember, it's a fairly often occurrence that my honeysuckle might bloom in December, or that in November we get 84 degrees and then by 5 or 6 in the afternoon or 7 it goes down to freezing. So alrighty, so let's do this. I'm going to place one of these on each side of the petal, higher. As I said, this is the first look, fresh from the. Alrighty, this works good. And again, right at the bottom of the petal, right before the little snake. Neck. This might need more. Remember, my habit is whenever I have to fill up something, I generally overfill, and I find that little strings work the best for filling up spaces. Let's just not put them too much backwards. That's the most important thing. There. This works good. And the thing will be with the second row, they're going to be a tad smaller, so I am going to reduce that other one even more. So this is the first row of petals. And I think I didn't get enough translucent for filling. No, you did not miss my distache. As I said, I am behind because I wasn't able to do much stuff because of the cold. Because honestly, when I saw my heating bill for January, I almost fainted. Okay, now let's do this even more. Even smaller. Oops, sorry. You know what, I think I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to go offline and continue, let's see, around 5:30 Eastern, Central, sorry, that would be 6:30 Eastern, and what, 3:30 West. because I don't want to mess up. I want to be able to show you the whole thing. And right now I'm starting to have pain in my back. It's those muscles that Thank you, Kim. Oh my goodness. I cannot even imagine. Now see, for me it is unpleasant. I mean, remember, I have a small, very small disability. And not only that, but my house is supposed to be fairly well insulated. I mean, quite a bit of money went into that. So I normally pay anywhere between 80 and 100. Where the heck does your autocorrect come with all these, Susan? I'm gonna do this other set of petals and then I'll come back. You can't your autocorrect started speaking Italian. That's good. Oh my god, I didn't think I was going to laugh this much today. Turn off the autocorrect. Oh goodness gracious. Okay, and let's get this one a little bit pinched too. I have for Finnegan, I had an old fire tablet, and that's his playing tablet. I'm hearing something, I don't know what. Like music or something. Duolingo or Esperanto. Huh. Okay. Let me see. I should have measured before. Anyway, that's gonna be fine. Even the birds started singing finally outside, and it's still thawing. I mean, yesterday it went up to 34, and everything that's on the north side of my house, including the entrance door, is definitely not thawed yet, but I had to be very careful this morning when I went to take out the trash. But yeah, if you don't want to have to worry so much about that center, you can do skinner blend that you plug in, you make in a circle, you know, the round plug, and just make like a burnt umber sienna, burnt umber sienna, and that should work just fine. Okay, now I'm going to place these in between. Making sure that I'm placing them properly here. Now, if you want your petals to be even more defined, you can surround them with a very, very, very thin, wrap it with a very, very thin, like half and half mix of sienna and cadmium yellow. And I have too many petals. I'm gonna make a second flower of sorts. A smaller sunflower. And there we go. Sunflowers are not perfectly together, but this will be, so all I have to do now is to, I don't have enough for another round. All I'm gonna do after this is to just fill in the spaces between these petals with strings, like you saw me using these strings of translucent to make it round. Now let me know. I'm going to have that done already. Let me know if you think you want me to see me reducing this, or I can have it already reduced and just do the piece of jewelry. Okay, now I'm not promising. Theoretically, I should be able to come back by like 5:30. If not, I'm going, because it depends on how my back feels. If not, it's going to be tomorrow at my 10:30 my morning, and we'll finish this. Okay? So I hope to see you later today. I hope my back is behaving properly, and we'll finish this. I have to go and lay down now. Thank you so much, and I'll see you later, hopefully, if not in the morning. I don't want to make promises I cannot keep. It all depends on how my my back is. Okay, then I'll be reducing it online with you. Okay. Okay. I'll see you later. If not, look on the community tab on my channel. I'll be announcing how I feel, and if I get on, I'll put on a message about an hour before getting on. Thank you. See you later. Bye.